There we go. There we go. It's telling me to rotate the phone. You want to rotate it? But it's not going to get us both in.
It's not getting us both in.
Let's see.
It's up to you. I mean.
Hey, you all. So we're doing a lot of simulcastingly on. If we sit close enough like we cousins, that'd be good. No, we good. We good. So I'm on Facebook Live. I'm on Huddle Live, as live as we could be, right?
Yeah.
I'm Evadyne with Company. Talk Worth Listening To is the name of my podcast, and this segment is going to be a contributing English segment to the Docuseries, Minding Our Mental Wellness with All That Happens, with All That Matters, Minding Our Mental Wellness with All That Matters. And the idea is that we will be discussing in Docuseries each chapter of my book, plus other stuff. So today is kind of a plus other stuff because it's not going to be on one particular chapter, but I'm here with my cousin Trevor WIngfield.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. So Trevor is a loyal reader of literature and knowledgeable in history and very intelligent. And though he's my cousin, you're welcome. Though he's my cousin, I don't say it because of that. I say it because it's a fact.
Oh,
and that's very important to state facts, right?
So
and as I put in the invitation, an educated consumer is our best customer. So I'm glad he's a customer. But he shared with me some information that pleased me after he read my book. And it had to do with Michelle Obama's book. I say that to say I don't know Michelle Obama, but I do know that our Creator is sending us constant information to share to improve the lives of people, including ourselves. So I have two books. The first book, Suicide is a Serious Killer. Let's End It Today. And I say that's a statement and a call to action. And a call to action because let's end it today means we get to the nitty-gritty and to the bottom of that thing so we can end it. Not ending your life, but ending suicide. I think we could all agree that that would be great.
Yeah.
You know. And so that's what I mean in that title. Suicide is a Serious Killer. Let's End It Today. However, because I know the word suicide hits people very hard and strange because they think it's a fight between God and Satan. They think that people are selfish. They have their thoughts about, I'm going to call it the unknown. I asked my co-author to give me a softer title with the same content because I knew we did good with the content. And for 4 days, every time I would say that, I would hear in my head, it's right in front of your face. So since I was speaking in my head, I would ask, what's right in front of my face? And then I had a customer, and I said to her, mind is to mental, as teeth are to dental, and we all have a mind. And when I said that to her, she lit up. She said, oh, my God, that makes so much sense. You're good. That makes so much sense. And then I said, doing, because that's what was right in front of my face. It had been a statement I was making throughout conversation for a couple of months. Mind is to mental, as teeth are to dental, and we all have a mind. And the idea is to simplify the word mental because a lot of times when people hear the word mental, they're ready to crawl up under a table when they were even at a party. Just because society brands and labels, stigmatizes, and then they pretend they're sending down the solution. Well, I would like to say that my books and my conversations with myself and with others, thank you, some of the greatest pieces to the solution puzzle to help people understand life, live their best lives, know that there are alternatives to the life they may be living. Because I clearly also say that in the book, if this life is a life you do not want to live, pack your things and move. Pack your things and move. And the psychologist told me one day, he said, well, that sounds kind of simple. So life is simple. We just complicate it. But when I say things out of my mouth, it's because I'm given that information from my co-author, who, by the way, if you don't already know, my co-author is my creator. My creator. Because I know people chant and pray and all that other stuff, and they pay no attention, some people, to when they get their answers. I'm not one of those folks. I've been listening to my creator since life. And so, I'm sorry, was that good?
This is fantastic. Look, I want to piggyback and let you finish.
Started.
I was going to say that I was just thinking that, I was talking to this lady who's lived around the way. She's religious, very religious. And she was saying, Trevor, some people give up. But her adage was, well, Trevor, when you get tired, just go home. As after losing my mother, and among other things, life is hard, but I'm not ready to go yet. And after what I've just went through literally hours ago, I still want to stay here.
That's right.
So I was just thinking that, okay, continue.
And so you do have to, and again, you can be tired of the life you're living. But this is what I share with people. And I know this is going to be a shock. I want you all to hold on. I don't want you to get shocked. Even though we are electrical beings with flesh and features, I don't want you to get shocked. You did not choose where you grew up. Your parents chose that.
That's in the book.
It is in the book, did not choose the schools you went to early age. You went to those schools because of where you lived, because of the decision of your parents. Lo and behold, because of where you lived as a young person, you may be now maritally and or childrenly connected to, extend the words, to people because of the choices your parents made to live where you lived, attend the schools you attended, play on the playground or in the neighborhood with certain people, and those people now became a part of your world. Okay, so let's say that's up to age 21, 22, 25. Let's say you're in your 50s and you're reflecting on your life. Reflect the way my suggestion is that you reflect in the ladder, with the ladder, L-A-D-D-E-R, with the ladder that I've just given you to climb. And see where your decision landed you. Or was it your circumstance that led to the decision? So when I say, if you are now living a life you no longer want to live, pack your things and move. But be mindful. You won't necessarily be packing your things tonight and moving out tomorrow, but mentally you will start packing your things and planning for the life you want to live. It might take you 6 months. It might take you 3 weeks. It might take you a year physically to leave, but mentally, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. And if you go to my YouTube, go to like, share, subscribe, ring.com. My first podcast on the Grown Folk Talking Network was titled Spiritually You. That was about 3 years ago, maybe 2022, 2023. But back in the 90s, after I self-evaluated, I wanted to start a program titled Spiritually You. So I'm a little long-winded, patient, but I know in my patience, my seeds are growing roots. They're growing roots. So eventually, and they sprout periodically throughout my days, my years. They'll sprout. But I'm not in a hurry because it's not about me. It's bigger than us. And it's not about me doing all of it, but it's about the contributions that my roots, my stems, and ours, everybody. You have to also know that everything that you do is leading to your something or someone else's something. So packing your things and move, one of the easiest examples I give people of how that can improve your life, your day, your next week, is that remember, and I know this is nobody who's listening, I don't want to shock you all again, but when we were children, and some of you children who are being granted the opportunity to listen to this, we could be the worst behaved. But if there was a trip on Friday, once that consent slip was signed, you did all your homework, you did all your classwork, you did not misbehave 1 second. Because in your mind, you anticipated the fun and the joy you were going to have on that trip. So you did nothing to mess it up. So when I say pack your things and move, that's going to be your trip. If you're listening and you have a comment, please, you may share. And if you're on Facebook and if you're on YouTube and you want to comment, hey, Zatasha, you want to comment, do that. Please comment. Please share us. But it is so important that we keep our mind/mental state in order, right? That we don't let people trigger us. And let me tell you, this is my first partnership with someone in person, not my first podcast or recording, of course you all know that, but this is the first time I'm with someone directly. And so I should learn how to shut up so I can include. So we can, let him speak. But again, I felt that I wanted him to share his view. Many people have read my books, many people hear me speak, but I wanted him to share his view of the book. I want you all to share your view. And you can do this by calling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 347-649-7741. You can call that number. I'm not going to answer, but you can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can leave your comment about any chapter. I will bring it in to the Docuseries. You can leave your comment about anything. You can leave a show topic. You can leave anything, and you can leave it as long as you need to. And if you'd like to provide a video that you would like for us to incorporate, and we just want language to be correct because we do want to share with our young people our vision and our information. So keep it just young people appropriate. Can't say social media appropriate because we know what's on that. But we want to keep it appropriate for our young people. We want to keep the language in a way where we wouldn't mind them repeating every single thing that they hear coming from us. So Trevor, my cousin, shared with me his view on my books. And so I'm going to just hush and turn the floor over to him.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Evadyne. Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Trevor WIngfield. I am one of the few first cousins to Miss Evadyne Smith. Before we begin, I want to take a point of personal privilege to say thank you for more reasons than one. Thank you for having me. Thank you for your hospitality. Just thank you. We won't go any further than that.
You're welcome.
Love you. Yeah. Okay. And with that in mind, not only is she one of my first cousins, she's one of my favorite cousins. And she's one of she's one of the few cousins I've ever had that wrote a book. Now I have relatives who purchased masters, who have achieved master's degrees, but to get out there and write a book, on a dare, that's really impressive because I thought about doing it myself. But anywho, for the sake of time, okay, I wanted to go over. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I'm close to David.
All righty.
But we got you here.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
So for the sake of time, I should have, gone over the topics that I liked because I'm going to cheat a little bit and to bring you up to speed. My cousin gave me this book 2 years ago, and I had to sit it to the side because at the time I had a whole lot of books I had to get out the way, and I finally read them. And so I saw Missy's. And so I'm going to see what this is all about, because mind you gave me this book almost 2 years ago. And City View could come to think of it.
Love City View.
She loves City View. In Baltimore. Okay. And the food is good.
The food is good. The vibe is good.
It's a nice vibe, yeah.
Yes.
And the thing about it is that I said, okay, I'll get to it. So it took me, forgive me, Missy, it took me a year and a half to get to it. I finally, because back then I wasn't working full time yet, so I just got books out the way, and my kid was gone, so I had to do something. And so what happened was I read it, and as we were going along, there was a few chapters in the book that really stood out. Again, folks, I apologize for not going back through this book and finding them, but I remembered some of the topics. One of my favorite topics is chapter 9, for anyone who's read it. On page 176, where it says, don't forget to say goodbye. Also in the book, I like communication. And all the time I read this book, I'm sorry, this is something else. Okay, at the time that I read this book, I think I just completed Michelle Obama's The Light We Carry. And also one of the other topics that I really loved in the book were relationships. If anybody needs some help, you need to purchase the book and then try to, find the topics. They're worth reading because these are just a few of my favorites. But I say that because everyone knows who Michelle Obama is. She's wonderful. She's a quite accomplished, intelligent, strong black woman from Southside Chicago, and she's married to the former President Obama. And not only that, everybody knows her for the first book she wrote, which was called Becoming Michelle Obama. Everybody said that book is really bad meaning good. I haven't read that one yet. As a matter of fact, some of her sisters love that book, and so did my cousin that I'm currently talking to. For Christmas, a friend of mine, the Reverend Dr. Shirley B. Stuckey, she gave me a book by Michelle Obama called The Light We Carry. And it took me a while to get to that one too, but when I get to them, I'd like to do a deep dive. When I read, I can read with the TV and the radio on, but I treat reading like I'm studying. I'd like to clear my mind of the gunk, turn off the TV, turn off the radio, and I'm over 50, and I still have to discipline myself, when I want to get into really serious or light reading. And around the time I was reading both of these books, to make a long story short, to me, being a Christian, I believe in the Spirit. And the Spirit, doesn't just make you jump up and down and catch the Holy Ghost. It's a reminder. It's a disciplinarian. It's a guide. And to me, there were a few topics in Missy's book that kind of coincided with Michelle Obama's book. And that made Missy's book feel and read and sound better than me, and I'm being real. And so, just like for instance, when you say, for instance, on page 176, don't forget to say goodbye. I've been in relationships and jobs where they didn't work out, and I was under the notion that, and I've been saying for almost 35 years, that when you pray, it's supposed to work out. I'll be 54 in a few months, and I found out that no, not always. So, I'm sorry, Missy, but that's not always the case. But the thing about it is, sometimes, I think I'm not going to speak for Missy. You can go back and correct whatever I say or feel. Is that sometimes when you're involved in something, whether a pet project or work, whatever you got going on, okay, sometimes, you want to close out right. Lead right. Try not to, walk away with bitterness and animosity. Matter of fact, OJ's made a record years ago. It's the last cover on my favorite person called "Don't Walk Away Mad Girl." Go find it. I like it. Anyway, don't walk away. Try if you can. But even if you walk away mad, try to leave as a form of closure. And I'm preaching to myself now. Try to leave and leave right as best you can. Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, communication. I thought that when people say you need to communicate better, communicate this, communicate that, you need to do it better. I thought it was psychobabble or something you found in the self-help book in the $5 bin. No. Communication is just like when you tell your kids when they start mumbling, whoever has raised children, speak English. My stepfather used to say, "Say what you mean and mean what you say." Something like that is in the book also. Mm-hmm. Okay. And another thing, relationships. These are just some of my favorites. Not I didn't put in everything I like, but this is just some things. Relationships are important. They keep us together because I currently just went through something, and without the few people who came around me, it would have been even much harder because I'm used to being by myself. I do things by myself, and when I was the man, I really did it really big all by myself. So anyway, relationships are important, but we all need people. Huh? Mm. It's just to try to find somebody you like. Well, if you need somebody, try to find somebody you like. Mm. And on that note, I'll turn it back over to Evadyne Smith.
Evadyne Smith, a.k.a. Missy, every time he said Missy. So, he says people, and I know that our Creator, again, people pray and chant and meditate, but don't pay very close attention to the answers. So it's the people who need people are the most luckiest people in the world. It's so important. Oh, and Patti LaBelle. If we were one big family, no one would have to beg to eat.
When I tell you your part, I'm getting.
There's no need for disbelief. Take my hand and we'll live on. So, yeah, this is what we do. We've been doing this since we were kids. We were kids together.
Yeah, apart we are we, together we're strong. Whoa, people. Yeah. Right.
So you have to listen to the lyrics of songs.
I got that
because artists will go into studios and use substances to open up their third eye, to give them their insight and their vision for creativity. Musical artists, writers, rappers, right? But some of us are walking around with our third eye open all the time, listening in. And what I share with people, with me, is that I keep my hair short so my antennas could always get the signal in to that transmitter, which is my brain. I am a receiver and deliverer of information. That is my purpose. I've become passionate about it. Speaking about relationships, they are so key and critical to who we are. They tell us, tell me who you go with, and I'll tell you who you are. Remember that.
Yeah.
Tell me who you go with. And it's like the people that you kumbaya with, the people that you're around. If I don't see you, this is even your credit. People think that they can fool, quote unquote, the man. But your credit report, they never, ever, 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 ever have to see your face. They watch your relationship of handling money, of paying bills. And that's how they know who you are and whether or not you're credible enough. So, don't forget to say goodbye. When I wrote that, I felt that once you start communicating with people, you're not going to I'm moving, because I said, if you don't like the life you live, move. I'm moving because you did so and so. It's not I am changing my life. Transformation, the change is another chapter. I am changing my life because, I'm sorry, hold on again. I don't want to shock anybody listening. You have a right to change your life. You, before anyone else, have a right to assess who you are and decide if that's who you want to be moving forward. See, we can't do anything to change the past, but we can use the past to guide our future. And I'm so glad this is being recorded because I say so many wonderful things that I forget when I'm finished saying it, but I can go back and listen to this, and I hope you all are the same way as well. As a matter of fact, in the book, Mind is to mental as teeth are to dental, and we all have a mind, as well as suicide is a serious killer, let's end it today. I have note pages behind every chapter because I know me, and though I'm not Oprah, I know me, and when I'm reading or thinking or doing, just like as I mentioned, there's some notes I might need to make, right? And I don't want you to have to go far. I should have put a pencil, a pen, something that you could stick a pen in. But I don't want you to have to go very far to make that mental note of someone you need to talk to about something, or something in here that you need to share with someone. I don't want you to go far. Now, you need to have a pen or paper, a pen, crayon, Nothing else will work. Crayon, pen, pencil. But you should have that anyway, whether you're home or out in public. But don't forget to say goodbye. I felt that opening up and sharing information will help you to understand that your decisions about certain things may be a misunderstood decision. Again, I don't want to shock anybody, but, sometimes you'll be texting and you think you know what you're writing, and then it goes off to the person, and then they stop speaking to you, and you don't know why, and you may never find out. However, if you ever look back in a text message, you're like, wait, what? Because we didn't proof it before it's sent. And our devices have a way of turning our words into something different. And the person who received it didn't confirm. Is that what you meant? They just took position, held it, and you may never speak to them again. But don't forget to say goodbye really became solidified in me when I stumbled upon the Teddy Pendergrass documentary. And he had decided, and this is after the book was written, he had decided that he wanted to end his life. So they put him in a room, in his chair, with a white sheet over him.
And I read some of the book.
Yeah. And let his people, his friends and family, come to say goodbye. Yep. And after that happened, what happened? Do you remember?
Okay, from what I remember, and that was a good documentary, and his autobiography was pretty good from what I read of it. What happened was, he was seeing a therapist at the time. Now, mind you, he was. Mind you, back in the day, he was.
No, it's okay. Yeah, when you said
Now, mind you, once upon a time, Teddy Pendergrass was the man. I remember, for anybody who was into the New York music scene, I don't know if you remember Big Zelda and Cheryl, they wouldn't see him in Madison Square Garden back in the day. Cheryl said the women lost their mind. But anyway, even my mother said that if he would step out front, he was going to probably make it big. He was big. Some of the ladies in my family loved Teddy. But anyway, so what happened was, by the time Teddy was seeing a therapist, he was stuck in a wheelchair, and he couldn't move anything below his neck. So what happened was, he was really bummed out. He had a hot career, hot girls, hot had the mansion, He had women, children, and everything. And what happened was, he got in that bad car accident back up in March of '82. Matter of fact, it's going on 45 years since it happened.
This is what I love about him, his brain. Go ahead.
Baby,
I love. If he needs, information,
yeah.
Trevor WIngfield will.
Oh, thank you. About, let me see. So this is about going on 44 years this month, actually. Right before he was to turn 32 years old. Okay. Anyway, there was a bad car accident, and so what happened was he was in the car with, I'll be family friendly, with a friend. Teddy got stuck in there, right? But the person that was with them got up and walked away without a scratch on him. Unfortunately, Teddy didn't have such luck. He was in rehab for a year, and he was in the hospital for 12 or 13 months. He came home. He was fed, just like the king or the prince that he was. All his friends and all his family were there. And he had a hard time getting over it. I can just imagine being this. He was the hot, sexy, the real man. The girls used to go crazy. And I remember that myself, to being an invalid almost, and having somebody to take care of him 24/7. And so, let's move this along to the 20th and 21st century. What happened was he saw a therapist. He was really bummed out, and he was contemplating suicide, just like my cousin just said. And he couldn't get off the suicide kick, and it's tough. And so, just like, I'm going to piggyback on what she just said. The therapist said, okay, if you want to go, I'm going to tell you what, before you leave, we're going to do an exercise, okay? We're going to have a mock funeral. We're going to get a casket. We're going to bring out the white sheet, and we're going to do a sheet over you. This is real talk, because I saw that documentary, and I read some of this book, which is excellent. So he had those family, friends, who, mind you, still living, but he was still living then. And people got up, and they said how they felt about Teddy. Once Teddy heard that, Teddy's mind was almost blown, right?
He changed his
mind.
He changed his mind.
Because there were so many people there from beginning to the middle to the end who said, I wish that Teddy had stayed. And Teddy kept hearing stuff like that in so many words, over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
And he told his therapist, you know what, thank you. I think I'll stay now.
I'll stay now. And so, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And when I saw that, again, it was after the books were out, I get my confirmations of accuracy, that the messages that I received, that I placed in this book. Now, okay, before I continue, please, we're in a 1 million books into 1 million hands, hearts, minds, and homes campaign. You can get the digital copy of both books, 2 for $20. Go to my website, NetworkingForSuccess.info /promo. Get the digital copy today, and you can begin reading them today. Honestly, and I need you to share that campaign. It's not about the money, but that's going to finally help, because then I get to take care of all the things I need to take care of and the people I need to take care of. And it's okay, I hear, for me to ask. I've given away so many. Well, how did you get yours?
She gave one to me.
I've given away.
In the parking lot of City View.
Oh, I love City View. I was on Security Boulevard in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes, Lord.
So,
yes, Lord.
Go get the books. Let's make this campaign successful. And trust me, if you know me, I'm a giver, okay? And I get myself a little twisted sometimes with money. But make this campaign successful. It's going to help people get into homes. Because if I receive, I share. And I know for a fact that if 10 people read this book, I multiply that by 20. Because whoever reads the book, and you don't have to read the whole book, each chapter is a chapter on its own. But when you do, your life is going to affect someone else's. But I say it's going to affect 20 other people, unless you don't go outside. If you don't go outside and you don't have 20 people in your circle in your home, maybe not. But if you go out, and if people recognize you, and it's not that you're living a bad life, it has nothing to do with that. But when I saw that documentary on Teddy Pendergrass, I just always look up and say thank you. Thank you, because I know that what's between these covers, I should say, on the sheets of paper, I know it's valuable. If my books are not the puzzle board as a solution piece, they are major pieces to make that puzzle whole. I'm telling you like I know. And I may not be here when I become part of a Black History Month in 35 years, but I will become part of Black History Month. My writings have been compared to bell hooks. My writings have been compared to now Michelle Obama, but it's not me. It's bigger than us. I am just paying attention and keeping my antennas clear and clean. Oh, that's what I'm doing. We all have to do our part. You know, like, everybody's here for a different reason. My name, I told my family this the other day in a thread, I have been done right. I don't know what my parents were doing. They always say, like, you know, if you're fighting, when you're making up, that the makeup is really good, you know, adults. So I've been made well. My name, Evadyne, my mother created that out of Evadyne. She originally saw my name, Evadne, Evadyne. She accented the E on the end, and she added the Y. And the way she spells my name, 20 years before I was born, it was established as a pharmaceutical antidepressant. Oh, shucks. I should have told you to hold on, right? Because I didn't want to shock you again. Hold on. Listen to this. 1942, the pharmaceutical industry created Evadyne. Evadyne. And it's a pharmaceutical antidepressant. And you know how they say you can't make it up? I don't even try to make it up. My mother never knew. As far as I know, she never knew. But if you know me, anyone, comment. If you know me, I am a human antidepressant. I can take the worst and make it the best. And it's not that I make it the best, it's how I see things. I see it differently. I mentioned some of us have that third eye that's open, O-P-E-N, open. But also, though we might be on this land, there are African tribes and Jewish groups that do not name their children for a week or 2 weeks, or give the child the middle name for a week or 2 weeks, to wait to see the spirit of that child, so that they're named according to who they are. And it's amazing because, you know, they're infants, but that's what they do, to wait, be patient. But though we're here in this land, we're still connected whether we know it or not. We're still connected. And for my mother to make my name, that to me is a seal of deliverance, because it is. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Keep going. That's me.
It's a seal. It's like I'm done. I was done just right. The pancake was turned over, then it was turned over again. I am who I am, not by accident, but by purpose and for reason. When I'm doing the work that I do, and I do a lot of other work where I drive people around, they do not want to get out of my car. They don't want to get out of my car because we're talking about stuff. These young ladies got in one night, and they said, and then I told them about the books, and then we weren't talking anymore. They were all crying because I had picked them up from a bar. They were all educators, young girls, young ladies, and they were sitting at the bar talking about the suicides of the young people on Long Island. And then they get in my car, and we're talking, and I tell them about my books. The young lady said to me, when she was finally getting out, I didn't have to force them, it was just that time, she says, why do I feel like you're going to disappear as soon as we get out? And I told her that's so interesting, because this is what happens. no matter how much time we spend together, people forget me when they get out of my vehicle. They may even forget me when they leave my presence if we're in the supermarket, because where I am, that's where they are. But I'm not offended by them forgetting me at all, because it's not about me. Because I am a receiver and a deliverer of information. So whatever we discuss, and my sister said, you need to start recording your conversations in your vehicle, right, Sha? You need to start recording, because you never know what's going to come out.
And you should.
To hear it. I can hear you. What you say?
And you should.
Sha?
You should record. You should.
I should record.
Yes, you
should. And I can put a sign up that says this ride will be recorded, so it's automatic. I don't have to ask permission. But you just don't know what's going to come out. And now, as we talk about recording, I share with people in the book, get a therapist before you need one. Right, Dawn? Get a therapist before you need one. Because you're going to be able to tell if they're good for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You're in your right mind because you don't need them. You're not challenged with anything, and they're not being assigned to your hospital room. You're going to determine whether or not they're good for you, because some people go into professions to be negative manipulators based on their profession. There have been several people who had just started seeing therapists who commit suicide. And that is a little tricky for me. That's why when Trevor spoke about Teddy, which I didn't realize that it was his therapist who directed him that way, that was a good thing. That was a great exercise because it taught a lot. Get a therapist before you need one. Just in case life ever throws you a curveball, you have someone to get you back to your home base, not the books, not the attending, not society. You have someone who knows you to get you back to your home base. That's who you want by your side, yes?
Catch on into this.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you how I know, but I agree wholeheartedly with what my cousin just said. 2, in your choosing, make sure you can find somebody that you can vibe with, that you can get along with, because you may not like the therapist and the therapist may not like you. So in English, what I'm trying to say is that finding a therapist is like going out friend finding. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You have to have, they're like a friend that you're going to speak to once or twice a week for maybe a year, 2 years and a half. And you're going to put stuff on the table you couldn't even tell your mother and father about. So it is, I want to piggyback again on some of what she's saying. So it's very important that you find a therapist where you can vibe with, you can gel with, because each personality is different.
That's right.
2, once you find once you find a therapist that you can get along with, or that they fit your needs, or they fit, or maybe they don't, but you just like them, y'all get along. The thing about this, don't forget, when you give them your problems, you can tell them almost anything. Don't forget that the therapist is not going to solve your problems for you. Let me say that again. Don't ask me how I know, but your therapist will not solve your problem for you, whether they have a master's or 2 doctorates. If anything, and I heard this a long time ago, if we have any DMV cats out there, meaning DC, Maryland, and Virginia, other people, there was this young lady who used to come to Howard University down in DC, and today with Dr. Archie Chapman, and she used to come on the radio, 96.3, every Saturday morning between 8 and 10 a.m. Down in DC. That show was excellent. I should have told you about it back then. Dr. Chapman was on point. And years ago, I heard her say, I was in my 20s, is that once you find a therapist where you can gel with or vibe with, you give them all your problems, okay, at your choice. 2, let's keep it real. 3, They're not going to tell you what to do. Whatever they do, they're going to give you the tools. They're going to give you the proper equipment. They're going to be the guide as to how you should go about it. And also, at the end of your therapy, you're going to be responsible with making your own decisions. I didn't believe that until somebody told me what they told me. So, to put it mildly. So, just remember that come to therapy with open mind. And I know that if you're like me, well, other people I've met, then, they're not into telling everybody their business. Because even when my mother passed away, Puga and Tiante and Mia Iris said, Trevor, now's the time to shut up. Don't let everybody know what's happening in the house. Don't let them know what's in the house. And later for that. Same thing goes with the therapist. If you need help, only put on the table what you want to put on the table. And Dr. Yala Vincent says, come with the real. Because if you're searching for help, whether to a self-help book or especially counseling with a master's level or PhD counselor, don't tell stories. Don't tell stories. You get a lot to tell for fun, but if you really want healing, just like if you've been doing something that even your mother and father could not correct you and stop you from doing, and you're past 35 and 40, you've got more life, behind you than you might have ahead of you, I think it's time that you stop playing games with yourself. Let's keep it real and find a counselor and put someone you can put everything on the table. I got delivered from cussing every other word when I was 19, but if you have to do that, then so be it, if that's your way of seeking healing and deliverance. Okay, so again, if I were y'all, I wouldn't worry about how I got this information, but I am telling y'all the truth, and that's what you look for, and they're going to tell you that when you first begin your therapy sessions. Now I will turn it back over to my cousin.
And so to that was great. to that, this is what I also share with people. Not just a therapist, but when you're seeing your medical doctor, when you're going to the school to see an authority about your child or your grandchild, we have our devices, one in which you're using right now. Thank you for being here. Record your session. Record your session with your therapist and let them know this is what you want to do. Why? Because when you are in it, you don't see it all the time. But when the session is over and you get to listen back on it, just like reading your journal, you could say, whoa, wow. It's almost like an argument. Everybody's yelling back and forth. Nobody hears nobody. But replay that argument and ignore you, listen to the other person, or listen to the other person, or listen to yourself and not the other person. But when you're going to see a therapist, when you're looking for one, seeking one, let them know you want to record the session. And I'm going to tell you, if they say no, they may not be the one for you, or they may be following a rule. So, as Trevor says, if it is somebody that you vibe with, and they say, oh, I think that's against the rule, but you really vibe with them, understand that they have a job, a job, as we say. So they're telling you what they're told to tell you for the protection of the people who may want you to stay in therapy for 4,500 years. If you vibe with them and you're feeling them spiritually, walk into that session recording. That's your business. That's just like going to the doctor years ago, and they used to take your file, put it on the outside of the door, and close it up. File. I think, let me at least make sure, like you're not smart enough to understand. Maybe they thought you were going to manipulate it, but I think it's more so privacy. But it's my file. Right? It's my file. So if you jive, you feel good about this person, that they're going to work well with you, you don't want to get them in trouble. So if they say no, they say no. And this is how you also say things when you're engaging. Say, you know what, I'm going to mentally and otherwise record this conversation. I'm going to mentally and otherwise record this conversation. So they hear things. They hear mentally. And I don't know if they hear otherwise, but you have informed them while recording that you're going to mentally and otherwise record this conversation. And if everybody is doing their job, nobody should have a problem with that. But I strongly believe that recording your sessions and listening back on them will be the best therapy you could possibly have. I'm going to open up the floor to see if anyone has any questions. We're on Huddle. I know we're on Facebook and we're on YouTube. I don't know how to operate all of them at the same time. If you want to come in, unmute yourself on Huddle, *6. If you have a question or a comment, we're pretty open. I see there's people on Facebook. I don't know if I can bring them in. Can you touch the blue where it says bring them on? Mm-hmm. Let's see. And it may let them join to, okay, so.
Send request?
Yes, send request just in case. Okay, enable next. The one under. Anyone on the Huddle app, a comment, question? Scroll down a little bit. Yeah. Bring that, see if she wants to come in. Ooh, there you go. Unable to add a guest. So we're unable to add a guest. If you want to, I think you got the, you may not have the message. So if you want to comment, you can call in right now to 520-525-8782. That will bring you wherever you are. If you're on Facebook or YouTube and you want to come in and you want to question, comment, I'll repeat, 520-525-8782. I do want to thank everyone for coming on board. And then when you come into Huddle, just *6. I don't really I don't tell you to announce yourself, but you can come on. We're going to open the floor. I really appreciate this. This was fun.
Good.
We're not IO, but we are so. But we are so. So get the book, please. 1 million books into 1 million hands, hearts, minds, and homes campaign. Absolutely. I would love to make $1 million with this book, with both the books, really. And organizations could use our books as fundraisers, no cost fundraisers. And if you are a social media, whatever you are, I can create something for you where, what is it, like the affiliate marketing, like the whole TikTok thing, where people can buy it. I know people aren't reading anymore, but they can pick a chapter. If you have a drama group, if you are working with young people and you would like them to utilize the book and talk about it, because, oh my God, it opens up conversation. Let me give you, okay, so if anyone wants to speak, just say permission to speak and I'll stop. But we're going to end it soon. I just want to give you the chapter titles. Chapter 1, and you can interrupt me at any point. Chapter 1, Profile of These Agents. Chapter 2, We All Have a Mind. Chapter 3, The Traps. Chapter 4, Botched Attempts. Chapter 5, Everything Happens in Its Time. Chapter 6, Transformation, the Change. Chapter 7.
Go
ahead.
Being Happy. Chapter 8, Family and Friends Having Their Say. That's another one I like too. Don't forget to say goodbye. Love that. Stop what you are thinking.
Did you say first?
I'm sorry. Let's go back. Okay, let's go back to Chapter 7. Chapter 7, Being Happy. Chapter 8, Family and Friends Having Their Say. Chapter 9, Don't Forget to Say Goodbye. Chapter 10, Stop What You Are Thinking. Chapter 11, Elimination, the Art of Communication. Those are just some of my favorites, y'all.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to go into each and every one of them. I decided to go by topic instead of chapters per se. Maybe next time, I got to go back and thumb through it.
And just to go through, Chapter 11, Elimination, the Art of Communication, it has subchapters: verbal, American Sign Language, body language, creative writing, cultures, silence, the arts. Those are the subchapters under communication. And communication, American Sign Language, communication, silence, yeah, absolutely. Being quiet is a great way to communicate with self. With self. People don't do that enough. And then we have notes from the author / co-author, writer, because my co-author, who did I say my co-author was? Do y'all, anybody remember?
The creator.
The creator. Thank you. Thoughts on life moving forward is another kind of like afterthought. The good that we see, that's post-COVID. And then I have a resource. I have a lot of resources in here. I mean, I had no other choice. And, well, I had no other choice other than to give you information on wellness, on nutrition, it's the thing that I do. Any comments, any questions? I would love to thank you all for being here. I love to thank my cousin Trevor.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. And if Cheryl Smith is listening, thank you. You should have majored in psychotherapy. We spoke for 3 hours after my mother's funeral, about 2 or 3 years afterwards. And it actually pulled me through what I was going through at the time. So, Ms. Cheryl, if wherever you are, you're one of the best psychotherapists in Brooklyn, New York, if not all 5 boroughs.
That's so beautiful.
If you're out there, but I appreciate that. I really do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Questions, comments, closing? Okay, so this has been Evadyne with Company, and Trevor WIngfield today has been my direct company. You all who are listening are our company. We are talking about the books, Mind is to Mental as Teeth Are to Dental, and We All Have a Mind. We are talking about Suicide is a Serious Killer. Let's End It Today. We are talking about we as a people, no matter where we are. I call this my galactic site, my galactic page, because no matter where we are, even on the space shuttle, there's internet. I'm sorry, there better not be a signal block up there at all. There's internet access. So you have no idea who's listening and where they are. But we are grateful that the Creator has given mankind the ability to connect the energy sources so that we do have this thing here. Please go to like, share, subscribe, ring, ring.com. That will take you to my video page. I have a lot to say periodically. And again, let's support the 1 million books into 1 million hands, hearts, minds, and homes campaign. 2 digital copies for $20. And I win, we all win. I'd like to thank you all, and I wish you the greatest every day. And remember, you could also Google my name if you have any doubt about my fame. Bye-bye now.
God bless you. Have a good week, y'all.
Be still. We are closing out.